Right folks, have you ever been looking through your old images and you find a load of images that you haven't edited? Goldmine! That was me last night. I found these. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 images here. So I'm just going to, I've actually edited these already, but I'll unedit one and we'll edit it together. So these are all, there's loads up. These are all Leica 28mm Q2 monochrome images. Maybe not the best, that's not the best, but I thought this area was quite interesting. That's Waverley Station. God, this is slow. Slow. This was at Christmas time with the shows. Christmas market. That's all Princess Street Gardens. And obviously the castle sitting above. Looking quite imposing. This is one of my favourite. I keep on going back to these images. I've taken a lot of this composition. That's St Giles Cathedral in the foreground. Obviously again with the castle up on the rock behind. This is taken just right at the west end of Princess Street, the junction with Lothian Road. This one here is North Berwick on a very imposing day, skywise. You can look at the sky. So I think we'll edit that one. Got this one as well. This was at New Haven, Edinburgh. I remember the shoot, that wasn't that long ago. But I found this image last night and edited it. As is my style, everything is high contrast. Usually odd presets sometimes to get me started. These are Kevin Mullins presets. Don't know if you know Kevin Mullins, big Fujifilm guy. This next one is just a straightforward edit. So there's the basic edit, or the basic shot, sorry. That's not quite, is it? So right, we'll edit this one, we'll put it back, we'll reset it. In fact, we'll take a copy. Create virtual copy. Couldn't see it for looking at it. Okay, so we'll reset this one. There we go. Typical flat Leica file. So what we'll start with here is I'll just do basic exposure checking. Make sure nothing's overly done, and we'll increase the shadows a little bit. Can't really go all the way. Still plenty of detail in the shadows. Whites are fine. Right, starting point. We'll get our crop. Just bring that in a little. You know, like the detail in the background here. It's maybe not the best composition really, is it? Fishing creels and all that kind of thing. The beauty of all these megapixels, you can bring it in a fair bit. How does that look? So I'm a bit cramped with the lighthouse. Not giving that much space to breathe. Take it up a little bit and see. Don't know. Maybe go about there. Still want to keep a bit of this fence detail on the side here. Yeah, we'll go with that. still a bit chopped at the top. Anyway, bring the highlights down. We'll just do all the basic stuff first. And we'll do a lot of we'll do a lot with the brush. That tower is obviously squint. It's been sitting there for centuries, no doubt. The lighthouse is pretty. I'm just trying to get stuff square at right angles. It messes with my. How does that lighthouse look? Looks pretty much fine, I think. A bit of clarity, just some general. Bring the exposure down a little. And I think pretty much the rest I'll do with the brush. We'll sort the sky out first. The sky's begging to be made to look even more angry than it already does. Don't want to go too far with the dehaze, it always looks a bit... I am guilty, I know I'm guilty of overdoing the contrast sometimes. That's like that, that's far too far, obviously. Yeah, that'll do. That makes the lighthouse pop a little bit. So we'll bring up another brush. And I'm going to bring out some of the shadows of all the houses and the flats, and this little bit of the pier, end of the pier, or the end of the harbour wall here, and these steps as well. So I'm just, first off, I'm just going to bring up the shadows a little and brush over all this. Just bring up some of that detail. Let me see a bit, show what we're doing here. Do these steps as well. Just see if we can get some more detail into the seaweed. Again, these fence slats. We need to bring up a wee bit of the exposure as well. So that's going too far. I reckon maybe about there. Don't want to make it too bright or too much. It's quite an imposing sky. Again, we'll bring up some of the detail on this. I don't know what this would have been back in the day. What do you think? The Harbour Master's watch or something? I don't know. I can't remember if there's a window on the other side. We'll just bring out some of the detail, a little bit of detail. Again, along the top of this fence. There's a couple of figures. Into the mask. Let's try that again. Yeah, right, okay. We'll bring up another mask. Brush, sorry. We'll bring up another brush. We'll give the lighthouse some treatment. It's already quite bright and imposing, but we'll just try it a little bit. Just to make it even more white, if you like. don't know if that's done a great deal, to be honest with you. Oh. Some of this brush. I like to bring up just reflections and that. That's reflection of the lighthouse on the top of that railing. I mean, I quite like that as it is, to be honest with you. That's pretty good. I mean, occasionally I use presets to start an edit. I've got some presets from Jeff Askoff up here. I'll show you. In fact, on here, easier to show you in this section here. It's got American Idol, and see, that's quite gritty. I quite like that as well, but I always kind of like to get my own editing. I always like to try and do it myself first. I mean, I like that, but that's maybe taking it a bit extreme for some people's taste. And that's quite nice as well. Then we've got the Kevin Mullins presets. One of these ones here. Obviously, he does a lot of presets for the Fujifilm stuff. This is just a black and white sensor on this, so I'll always just keep it to the simple monochrome. I mean, if you use that, you would need to up the exposure quite a bit. I love that. The added grain. I do like that, but like I say, I always like to try and do my own full edit. So what we haven't done with this is added the grain. In fact, I'll take the sharpening down. I'll take a bit. I don't want digital sharpening. Here's the grain down here. Here we go. Right, we'll whack it up to start with. And we'll just dial it back. I'm never scared with the sliders. Before, after. We could afford to make it a bit more dramatic. That's too much. That's the size slider, so that's the size of the actual grain effect. Roughness, we'll whack that right up and we'll see what it does, just for a laugh. That's not too bad, that's very... There we go, going like that, about there. Now, looking at it, the whole thing, that's how we started. I do want a wee bit more contrast, I think. Rather than going to the presets, I think we'll just hit the contrast slider. A bit more clarity, maybe. What about that, folks? I quite like that. I'm still inclined to give that lighthouse a bit more breathing space. There we go. I do like that. That's nice. Maybe a little bit of a take off some of the, bring in some of it towards the lighthouse. This is just bland. It's a bland area. Again, we'll bring in the top up now, just to decrease the exposure a little bit. Drop the shadows. What do we think? What do we think, folks? Do you like it? like I say, it's like you've won the lottery, finding images that you haven't edited before, before and after. There we go. What do you think? I quite like that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. So have a wee look through in your old, have a look through old images, see what you haven't edited. I guarantee you'll always find one or two, or in my case 9. Is that one? Or this one? North Berwick. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to use a preset in this. Okay, we'll put this, reset this. There's a standard image, flat as a pancake, typical Leica image, Leica file. So the horizon looks pretty straight. Right, so I think we'll try the Jeff Askoff. We're going to need to up the exposure, whatever we use, or the shadows at least. Right, this is just for a wee carry on. I mean, they're handy to use. They're handy. Presets are handy to have to get you started sometimes. I remember the day that it was only a couple of months ago. I actually had my, just not long after my knee operation. We need to do something with that sky. I absolutely pissed it down with rain about 10 minutes after this. But by that time I was back in the car. Oof, look at that. Look at that sky. It's amazing. Don't want to go too far. That might be too far for some of you. Get rid of the sharpening. Digital crap. Yeah, right. I'm going to get a brush. And I'm going to try and bring up some of the shadows just here. Up here maybe. Just these rocks here. And a bit in the foreground as well, these pebbles. So I'll just bring up a little bit of detail. And that street in the distance there. Let's see what happens. Oof, struggling. There we go. There's always shadows and detail to be found in these Leica files. It's a dark gloomy image. You could go to town with the exposure, which I never like doing. So I can bring the crop in a little bit as well, just. I'm not overly happy with that, to be honest with you. Bring up that brush again. There's not a lot of highlights to be had there, I know, but yeah. Yeah, that's not bad actually. This might be taking it too far. That looks all very unnatural there, doesn't it? It was a weird atmosphere. Like I say, it wasn't that long ago. Yeah, it's bringing plenty up in there. I don't like this too much. Undo that. I know what will sort it out though. A little bit of green. A little bit of green. There we go, that looks better. Looks better already. Before the grain, after the grain. Now come on, admit it. Grain is where it's at. Whenever you, I don't often use the built-in crop vignetting. I always like to just add it in myself around the edges. That's okay. Not the best image you will ever see. I want a little bit, a big brush in the middle, a big just to bring up a little bit. Come on, let's do it. Just feels lacking something. Don't know. There we go. Quite like that. It's okay. Anyway, that's not my favourite image really. I quite like. Right, I'll show you the before and after of that. Right, there we go. Before. After. Right. Not my favourite image, to be honest with you. Excuse me, but quite like how this one's turned out. I like that one. Okay folks, if you enjoyed that, remember like and subscribe. Should really do more of these type of videos. But my editing process is quite often not the most organised procedure you'll ever see. My editing process is very unorganised. I just hit the sliders, do everything until I actually like it. I don't have a procedure. Like I say, I occasionally use a preset to get me going. There we go folks, cheers for looking. And we'll catch you in the next one. Remember and subscribe, leave a comment. Okay, bye bye.